Hello everyone and welcome to a new and improved Munce Report. We're doing things a little bit differently and we're here at the stable. The afternoon shift is in full swing and we're going to try and over the coming weeks and months try and bring owners a bit closer to the action, Chris. And with COVID now a bit of a, it's around but it's not as crazy as what it once was. So we're back here at the stables and great to be bringing owners a bit more and talk us through it, mate. The afternoon shift's in full swing.
Yeah, well, Adam, they start back here at 1 o'clock in the afternoons. They have a bit of a rest through the day, the horses. Obviously, they have their main workout in the morning, and in the afternoons, it's basically coming in, all the staff get in and clean their boxes and get them out for a walk. And we check on any horses that might need tending to. But it's basically about just getting them out of the box in the afternoon, give them a bit of a pick of grass, give them a walk, and clean them up for the night. And
I just saw you were giving one a bit of a trot up, so obviously if you feel you want to see a horse not just walking, you can use that as a thing too.
Yeah, well, they're often when they're warm, you don't see things compared to what you do when they're a bit cool, when they cool down. So, this is why I find afternoons are probably just as good as the mornings. Of course, you see horses, they've cooled down, they've sort of relaxed a little bit from their morning workout, and you see a bit more of the horse and what's really going on.
Very good. Well, we hope you enjoy some new segments that we're going to bring you in the coming weeks. So let's get into the show. Okay, well, the week that was and some good performances on the track. Hobbsy, young 2-year-old who performed really well on debut at Ipswich on Wednesday. A little bit green, but no doubt you would have been happy with the performance.
Yeah, very happy with him. He come to us, he really didn't know a lot about what was going on, but we sort of picked him out pretty early that he had some sort of ability and just educating him as best we could along the way. But he's a pride of Dubai. I still think he's probably 6 months from being at his top. But I thought his run yesterday at Ipswich was very good for a horse having his first start in a race, particularly on a heavy track.
Okay, and just progress him, just obviously see how he comes through that run and any aims for him in the coming weeks? Or?
Yeah, sure. Look, at the moment with him, he's still very much a young horse. Probably won't aim that high at the moment. We'll just sort of take it along each race by race. He may only have 1 or 2 more runs before he goes back to the paddock for a short break. But, as I said before, he's only going to get better with time.
Okay, well, exciting times ahead for the O'Toole family with him. They obviously had Fastnet Jack, who was a winner not long ago, so the colours are going well.
They are. No, there's some nice horses amongst there for Jerry and Debbie, and there's a few more that we haven't even really put the screws on yet, so hopefully they can aim up as well.
Okay, well, we'll get those names through to the people in the coming weeks. But and then Smart Media, or Dave as he's affectionately known, he ran a big race to secure a listed placing in the rescheduled Tats Members Cup.
Yeah, it was a great run. Jaden rode him very well, probably a little bit too well. I think in hindsight, if he'd have ridden him a little bit the same way as what he did at Doomben, he might have had a bit better turn of foot. But he still raced very well, and he'll only have a short time now in the paddock before we get him sort of tuned up for a few of the races over the winter.
Okay, and he's obviously one of the stable favourites. I mean, he rarely runs a bad race, does he? He's just a champ.
He is, yeah. Oh, look, if you had a stable full of honest, genuine gallopers like him, life would be very easy.
And what about future aims for him? What are we eyeing off now?
Oh, look, I'd like to try and aim for a race like the Ipswich Cup or Grafton Cup, something along those lines. Where I think that's not beyond him. He relaxes very well, and as I said before, he has got a good turn of foot when he's ridden that way. So that's probably right at this point in time where he's likely to be headed.
Sounds good. Good to have another Cups horse in the stable.
Well, it is, and I mean, look, he's not a very big horse. He's he's probably only about 15.2, 15.3 hands high. He's not a very big horse at all, but he certainly tries. He puts in and he makes up for it in his heart.
Very good. Well, good to see some of the horses running well. Okay, Off the Track, which is a new segment where we're going to highlight some of the former stable stars, and not even if they're not stable stars, but just recap what they did on the track and then what they're doing in their new lives. And pretty fitting, really. The first cab off the rank is First Crush, who was a stable stalwart for a number of years, and he was your Cups horse back in those days, in that period.
Yeah, well, he was a great horse, wasn't he? He won the Grafton Cup for us, and when he left our stable to go down to Melbourne over the jumps, he was well looked after, and he had a good try at the jumps, but it wasn't meant to be. So it was really, for us, it was very pleasing to see him find a new home with Simone Fisher down there in Melbourne, where he's now his new pastime, show jumping, or beginning to start show jumping, and he's getting well looked after. We get tagged in, and we get kept up to date with all his goings on. So it's always nice to see your horses go to nice homes.
Yeah, well, he's looking good, isn't he? In the photos that Simone's been sending through and putting on social media, you can tell just in the post she really loves him, and even though she hasn't done much as far as competing, but he's looking good. The old boy, he's 10.
He is. You know, he's 10-year-old and he looks fantastic, and he's still got his L plates on as far as his show jumping career goes. So, and as he's only 10, he's still quite young. He's still got the opportunity to jump for a lot more years yet. So. You know, I'm sure we'll be reading about him in the not too distant future at a few good competitions.
Let's hope. And I guess one thing that stuck through from our chats with Simone, just checking in and seeing how he is she said that he's had a great home. You can tell he's been well looked after throughout his career, and obviously that goes from his time as a yearling when he was purchased, and then through his stable life here.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, we got him off Kevin Moses, and Kevin sent him up to us in pretty good order. He was pretty raw. He was still a big baby, but you know, when he furnished up here and he matured properly, that's when he started to come into his own as a nice stayer, and he really enjoyed his racing with the time he had with us.
Sure did. Well, that was great to hear more about First Crush's journey, and thank you to Simone for sharing that with us. And if anyone else has some former stable stars that maybe we might not know about, don't assume that we do. So feel free to get in touch. Okay, well, welcome to our first Meet the Team segment, and this one's probably a bit overdue. Many of the Munce Racing faithful may know of Juliet Partridge, but we haven't formally introduced her really to the masses before. So Juliet, welcome aboard, and talk us through how you got involved with Munce Racing. It's quite the story.
Well, I was just a +1 to a Christmas party, and you could say my dance moves were that good that Chris couldn't pass up the opportunity to have me at the stables.
Can confirm?
Yeah, no, I can confirm that. No, she certainly cut the rug, I can tell you now.
So you impressed on the dance floor. How long after that did you then kick off your career?
Probably the next week.
And obviously you'd worked with horses before though, so it wasn't like you were totally foreign to the world?
Yeah, no, I'd been at a smaller stable previously, so I had a bit of experience under my belt.
And how long ago was that? When was your anniversary?
Oh, it's every Christmas party, so it's been 3 Christmas parties since, so 3 years.
Very good. And now, for those of you that don't know, she's a bit of a jack of all trades, isn't she? She obviously rides track work. You know, she's a strapper, she's a stable hand, she loves the horses, and she even takes the float solo to race meetings when called upon.
Yeah, she does. No, she's a very, very handy person to have around our stable, my word. She rides good track work and loves the horses and seems to appreciate the work that, you know, we all put into the horses, but Juliet's very, very hands-on with them and puts a lot of time and effort in.
And she's also a bit of a singer. I was going to ask her, but I thought I'd ask you
first.
No,
she's a very good singer, and she rates herself as a bit of an actress too, particularly in Oliver. Yeah, she was a bit of a scene stealer in the showcase Oliver, and she reminds us of that.
Now.
She reminds us of that every afternoon when she starts kicking her heels around the stables.
No, but I guess every stable needs a Juliet, don't they? As far as someone that you know has energy and a good vibe about them.
Yeah, she does until she gets cranky of a morning until the sun gets up. You know, once the sun's up, she's all right, but in the dark, she's cranky. All
right, your turn. Talk us through, of all your roles. As we said, you're a bit of a jack of all trades. What's your favourite thing that you do here as part of your role?
I probably like riding the most. That's what I enjoy the most.
And talk us through why. What do you love about it? I mean, it's an industry that is quite full on. You do it, you know, sort of 13 days out of 14 a fortnight. So what do you love about riding, and what keeps you turning up?
I just love like when we get the yearlings come in every year, getting them going, getting them to the races and seeing them succeed. And yeah, it's a really hands-on role, and you get to see the horses go through and see them at their best, and yeah, I like it. I love it.
Okay. Well, we know you have your favourites, so tell us who's the favourite in the stable at the moment?
Stampy. Stampy and I go way back. He was probably the first horse that I strapped when I came to Munce Racing, and he was a winner. So, yeah.
And talk us through what do you love about Stampy apart from the fact that he wins? I mean, we know he's tough on the track, but you get to know the horses as far as their personality.
He's a great character of a horse. I don't ride him track work. He's a big, strong boy, but you know, he's a great character and a great horse to have around. And yeah, we've always gotten along with him. So.
And talk us through. Obviously, you're riding track work, and your trainer is a Grand Slam winning jockey. Here, you often I know you often utter those words. What was it like the first time when you were said, okay, you can go out there on the horses and you know he's watching you?
Oh, I was a bit starstruck and a bit nervous. Still to this day, sometimes when I know he's in the tower, I make sure I'm sitting on real pretty and doing everything properly.
What is she like as a rider? Talk us through. Obviously, you see her every morning.
Oh, well, look, Juliet, she's improved a hell of a lot, you know, and when she came to me, she was a competent rider and always was willing to learn and try her hardest. She gets cranky sometimes when she makes a mistake herself, but she knows she's made a mistake, but she improves on it. She doesn't just dwell on it, she improves on it, which is what you want to see, you know, and she's sort of developed into a very, very competent rider. She rides good gallops, good timings, and even now, like she gets them out of the gates very well. She does a few jump outs and 400 metres or 800 metres, it doesn't matter. She does a very good job with them.
All right, you've heard all about Juliet. Now before we let you go, we need to find out a prediction. Give us a prediction for anything that may happen in the future with the stable.
Well, I'm hoping, Adam, that we have a really good winter carnival. We've got some good horses in, so I'm hoping that we get a few good winners and we can have a few good dance parties.
Well, we know she loves a dance, so thanks for joining us, Juliet, and look out for more Meet the Teams in the coming weeks. Okay, preview time for the weekend, and a big weekend of racing because it's the return to Eagle Farm, obviously headquarters and your home track. It's obviously been some time since they've done the remunerative works to the track. So how is it looking, and how do you think it's going to play?
Yeah, well, I'm not really sure. You'd like to hope at the time off it's had, it'd race like a bowling green, you know. It looks very good. There was quite a bit of work done as far as Kikuyu grass and sand and whatnot that was put on it. So, as far as I know, there hasn't been a horse put on it, so it's a bit hard to know how it's going to race. But as I said, you know, with the time that it's had, you'd like to hope it races very well. Yeah,
well, fingers crossed. I think everyone wants to see it return to its glory days. So let's get into the preview. You've got two runners in the cutest 3-year-old handicap over the 1600. Southern Stock with Larry Cassidy aboard and Military Gambler. Obviously, we touched on Southern Stock's win last start, and how's he been since then?
Really well. No, he come through his run in good order. He even the day after, he was still quite bright, so he handled it quite well, even though it was a pretty tough sort of run first up. So he'll go into the race quite well. He likes Eagle Farm. He won his maiden here by a big margin, and I think the mile second up suits him. So he's drawn well enough where he should get the right sort of run, I think.
Okay, and Military Gambler, Jaden Lloyd aboard, and he's been in good form, hasn't he? Sort of run well last two starts.
Racing fantastic. His last 3 runs have been good, you know, and his rating the other day suggests that he's kept on improving, so he's probably going to need to, because I do feel this is a lot stronger race than what he met the other day when he ran second with Gypsy Goddess in it and Southern Stock and a few others there. But having said that, he's probably better placed at the weights, particularly with a claim for Jaden, and there doesn't look to be a lot of speed in the race. So, you know, hopefully he can roll forward, put himself into a competitive spot, and with fitness on his side, he might take a bit of running down. Okay, well, they're both in good form heading in, so good luck to Connections over the weekend. The other runner you had on the program was Dash for Dreams, who was entered for a benchmark 78 handicap. But are you going to wait for another day? I'll wait for another day. I just thought the race where she had drawn was probably just a little bit tricky. I didn't feel that, you know, she was second up going from 1100 metres to 1400. It was a bit of an ask, particularly here at Eagle Farm, and I probably just didn't feel she was quite ready for that from a tricky draw. If she had drawn soft, it might have been a different story, but she'll wait. She'll run next Thursday at Ipswich in a Class 5 1200. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that one for her. Let's move to the provincials. Gold Coast Saturday, Ashmolean is entered for a cutest 2-year-old maiden handicap over the 900, and she was a horse that we touched on from the trials, performed well at Deagon the other day. Trialled very well, showed good speed on a soft track, and still finished her trial very strongly. So she will, at this stage, she'll take her place. Obviously, the weather may play a part, like depending on how much rain we have between now and then, but she's only had the one trial, but she's a lightly framed filly and doesn't take a lot of racing. So I think that, you know, although she only had the one trial, it's a nice race for her to kick off in. Okay. Sunshine Coast on Sunday. Another trial performer was Tiptoes, who we touched on in recent weeks, entered for a maiden plate over the 1,000 metres. Carl Seckner to ride. Yeah, well, this mare doesn't like a wet track, so I really don't want any rain. She's been scratched a couple of times due to that, and she just needs to have a bit of firm footing underneath. If she doesn't run on Sunday, she'll trial on Tuesday. But she's a lovely mare. She seems to be going well. I just need to get her in the right race, you know, on a dry track with a good draw. Okay.
sounds like one to watch. Race 3 is a cutest 2-year-old handicap over the 1,000 metres. Kintamani, first starter here in the strong bloodstock colours. Boris Thornton to ride from barrier 3, and he trialled also at Deagon the same day that we've spoken about, but you can't read too much into that?
No, it was very below par trial for him because his work's been very good. But he is a headwater, and any headwaters that I've had anything to do with don't go in the wet. They really want firm footing. So he's another one. He's nominated and accepted for Sunday. If the track happens to be wet, I'll probably wait. He won't run until we get on top of the ground because we didn't really get a good guide at Deagon the other day as to how he's going.
Sure, and you've got Tuesday trials at Doomben as a backup there as well.
Tuesday's trials as backup, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, race 5, you've got 2 runners engaged here in the maiden plate over 1,400. Strategic Success, Carl Zechner to ride there, and Majestic's Request from barrier 11 for Boris Thornton.
Yeah, well, they're up to the 1,400, both horses. I thought Strategic Success's run first up was quite good. Got back, hit the line very well for Carl and finished his race off quite strongly. So up to the 1,400 is certainly going to suit him. But yeah, Majestic's Request has been racing really well. He's 3 runs this time in. He's really finished off strongly and been very genuine about his efforts. So probably just needs an ounce of luck from a tricky draw there on Sunday, but he will probably run no matter what sort of track rating we run into.
Okay, and the final runner on the program is Correa in a Class 1 handicap over the 1,400, and he was good first up, sort of made a lot of ground first up over a shorter trip.
And it was first up from a long spell as well, so I thought his run was terrific. He's had a little bit of time in between runs. He's one of those horses, he seems to feel his runs and takes a bit of time to get over them, but he'll run no matter what. He likes the wet, and he certainly has improved a lot since his first up run.
Okay, one to watch there also. So, all right, well, that's the wrap. Big team of runners heading to the Sunshine Coast and obviously the return to Eagle Farm. So good luck to yourself and connections over the weekend.
Good on you. Thanks, Adam.